Hello, I'm Allison Anyanwu, and right now I would like to share with you information from the Pillars of Leadership book by Will Bozeman. Today we'll be discussing pillar number 4. And in pillar number 4, it talks about Caleb and Joshua. And the title is The God Perspective. Leaders will always face challenges and have strongholds. And that's because of the position of leadership, if there can be a hindrance in that one leader can then influence and interfere with the God guidance of a group of people who have been assigned to that leader. So therefore, it is important for us to understand that we cannot be limited by our own persuasion, by our own perspective. We must understand our anointed purpose and divine will of God and seek to condemn self and focus on what God's plan is. Sometimes we feel that we need to understand everything. And God wants us to know that we have got to release the limitations and focus on His perspective. So, in this situation, in Numbers 13 to 14, they were talking about how Caleb and Joshua went to scope out the land that God had assigned as a promise. And as they went to look at the land, they saw it, and they saw it as something beautiful, something worthy to have. But they also saw the people who were presently on it. And those people seemed to be taller, much bigger. And they said that we were as grasshoppers compared to them. And it's my understanding that they were perceiving themselves. It's almost like they seem like grasshoppers, and they began to see and feel themselves as grasshoppers and describe those people that inhabited the land as giants. But God said that we are to believe His word and believe His promises. And it doesn't matter of the obstacles, because God is bigger than our giants. And God can change things around, just like David and Goliath. God can change things around. We do not have to be limited. What limits us is our vision. So, what this talks about is, let's change our vision. Let's see it from God's perspective. When we begin to see it from God's perspective, we don't have to understand everything, and we'll know and we'll trust God that He will fulfill what He's called us to do. He will fulfill what He has willed us to be. And that is my thought for today, that we've got to change our perspective. Yes, you can understand your limitations, but when you start understanding that you are not limited by your limitations, that your limitations are not God's limitations, you will then understand seeing things from God's perspective. Thank you for listening. One last thought. In seeing things from God's perspective, that means the vision that God has for you on your job, the vision that God has for you at school, the vision that God has for you in your finance, and you look at the limitations that are there, and you say, I just don't see that happening. It's okay, because it's not based on your vision. So let's see it from God's perspective. Thanks for listening.